ටවුන් එකේ විෂන් කෑකට ගියා නම් ඉවරයිනේ.
විෂන්කයා විශ්වාසනීය දැක්ම.
The allegations made by Mr. Sridharan are an addition to the number of allegations made against both the Sri Lankan security forces as well as the LTT about crimes against humanity, war crimes committed in the last stages in particular of the war. I think the only way to settle this matter, put it to rest, is for a credible, independent investigation to be launched into these allegations, and for that investigation to come up with definitive conclusions with regard to them. If not, we are always going to be dogged by someone or the other coming out and saying that war crimes, crimes against humanity were committed, and there will be a scar on the reputation of the Sri Lankan security forces in particular. The only resolution, therefore, is an independent, credible investigation of these allegations.
The TNA MP, Sridharan, has told the Sri Lankan government used chemical weapons against Tamil civilians during the war against terrorism. In fact, this is the latest addition to a series of lies spread by pro-LTT diaspora agents in this country to create more and more disharmony. Primary focus of the Sri Lankan army at that time was to rescue more than 290,000 innocent Tamil civilians who were held as a human shield by one of the most brutal terrorist organizations the world has ever seen. The answer to Mr. Sridharan has already been given by none other than the former Foreign Secretary of India, Mr. Shivashankar Menon, in his book, The Choices, where chapter 4 discusses about the war on terrorism in Sri Lanka. In this book, Mr. Shivashankar Menon argues that the Sri Lankan army could have ended the war much earlier had they decided to use more brutal weapons. He says Sri Lankan army could have easily justified that. The same way USA justified the use of atomic bomb against Nagasaki and Hiroshima in Japan during World War II. But Sri Lanka didn't do that. President Mahinda Rajapaksa in fact ordered that the heavy weapons should not be used during the last phase of the war. So we don't have to worry too much about the lies that are spread by people like Mr. Sridharan, because we know very well that the pro-LTT diaspora is very much active these days, spending millions of dollars to achieve their sinister objectives. So there are a lot of people who are working for money. Obviously, this statement is part of such effort.